Something that you guys are going to find is incredibly important to kind of pitching yourself to potential record labels or management companies or booking agents is that you have a current electronic press kit or EPK. There are different formats that you can build an EPK in, such as a video EPK, a website EPK, or just a physical PDF EPK. However you decide to build the EPK is totally up to you. But in this video, I want to actually walk you through what needs to be in your EPK and, of course, to make sure it is always up to date with the absolute best material so you can put your best foot forward. In this video, we're going to discuss how to make an electronic press kit or an EPK. Hi guys, I'm Ms. Krystle. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and author of How to Keep Your Dukes Up in the Music Business. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent musician. The first part of your EPK is going to be your bio, which is all about you. Now, you don't want to go over the top with writing out a novel about your entire history. Keep it concise. And I like to call it the elevator pitch. If you needed to summarize in maybe 4 to 6 sentences what makes you special, what kind of musician you are, what genre of music you do, and really what sets you apart from other musicians in your category, that is the language that needs to be in your bio, which essentially is a pitch all about you. Now, I will say when it comes to this, don't oversell, okay? When it comes to EPKs, the people who you are likely sending this to probably receive a lot of these, and they can kind of see when someone's bluffing or fluffing a little bit too much, and you don't want to be one of those people. You need to find that fine line between overselling and maybe embellishing too much from what is actually true to underselling. You need to actually sell yourself, and you need to always be your own cheerleader. But just remember, in how you actually phrase what it is that you're doing and how you sell yourself, find that happy mediums as to not go too far either way. Next, you want to have a section dedicated to your social reach. And so it's just going to be inclusive of what platforms you're on, social media, where essentially your following is at, and then of course hyperlink everything. So if you have kind of a list of your different social media platforms, actually hyperlink to your various pages from your EPK. And so someone who is interested in you and wants to check out, let's say, your Instagram page, they don't have to go and do some research and there's an issue with the typing of your name and things like that. Make it super easy and actually hyperlink each one of your social media. And I like to include the actual numbers if they're relevant or helpful to kind of representing where you're at in your career. If you have good numbers, add them into your EPK. Next, you want to include a section for press coverage about you or your band. And this is going to, of course, be the absolute best. Over time, you will get a lot of press coverage. Some of it will be local, kind of coverage, or national, or even international. But of course, pick out the best ones that highlight the best features of you as a musician, as an artist, and don't go over the top, okay? So what I mean by that is that listing out 10 different quotes or 20 different quotes might not necessarily be helpful because you're assuming someone's going to sit there and read everything. And the rule of thumb would probably be maybe 3 or 4. And again, it might even be helpful to bold certain words if someone's just kind of skimming through, or italicize or underline. Just always kind of put yourself in the position of someone who would be looking at your EPK and take yourself out of the equation. And say, if I had received this from someone I don't know, I'm on a deadline, I'm really busy, what is it that you would be looking at or you would find interesting? So take that same kind of sense into how you draft the entire EPK, but particularly when it comes to what you select for the press coverage section. In your EPK, you're going to want to make sure to also include a section with your recent music releases. Now, over time, of course, your catalog and your repertoire is going to grow and you're going to build, and not everything's going to be relevant because, over time, our music and our sounds can change. So usually it's the last few releases, or if you have maybe a song that you really knocked it out of the park and it's the one that got you millions of plays on Spotify, and it really was your best work, be inclusive of that. But just pick the best titles that are going to best represent you and where you're at with your career today. Next, you want to make sure there's a visual representation of you via video. If you have a music video or a live performance or something where someone can click on a video and get a sense of what you're like as a performer, as a musician, is going to be very helpful. And likewise with the music, of course, Pick the best videos to include and don't go over the top. Maybe just 2 to 4 at most, and just assume that hopefully the person who's actually looking at your EPK will click on maybe 1. So make sure you select only the very best from your catalog. Next, I like to include a section of show options. Now, this isn't necessarily going to be relevant to everyone that you send an EPK to, but I like to include it because oftentimes we're sending EPKs for potential show opportunities, and so the show options become relevant. And so for me, because I have a full band, I also have a setup where it's just me and a piano as kind of like an acoustic kind of setting, but then also I have the nightclub version where it's just me and my DJ. I actually designed stage plots, and so these go in my EPK to show not just the different types of setups that I have, but the stage plots themselves can be used for later on. So when we actually do have a show, we'll send the EPK, which tells the house engineer how we need our setup, and so they're better prepared for us. So for me, it's kind of double dipping. The information is already in the EPK, and then it can be sent to additional team members who actually need to see what the setup is for that particular show. Of what we just covered, right, your bio, your social media links, press, links to music and music videos, that's really the heart of your EPK, and you want to make sure you're updating everything at least once a year. Sometimes it's important that you update even more than that if you have things happening, new press, reviews coming in that can be helpful. But in addition to that, I like to include anything else that will be a good representation of what you offer and what makes you special. So for me, we include, depending on who we're sending it to, different aspects of my EPK that will gear towards, let's say, vegan festivals. And so because I've been vegan now for 7 years, it's definitely something that's a part of my brand, something I care about very deeply, and so I'll participate with these different vegan events. We will specifically include sections with photos and just different representations of kind of what I do and what I can contribute if I do get booked, let's say, for those types of events. And then, of course, there might be things about other aspects. I have a charity, and so there's just some reference to the charity. And last but not least, of course, you want to make sure there's always contact information in your EPK. It's not very helpful if someone saves your EPK, they find it later because, let's say, they're interested in booking you for a show, and then they can't find contact information. And so you made it very difficult for them to now have to look you up, reach out to you, and you don't want to make anything difficult for anyone ever. So make sure you include contact information every single time. Now, today's video was inspired by this section from my book, How to Keep Your Dukes Up in the Music Business, because I specifically go through the different types of EPKs, how you can build them, kind of what my method to madness is. But today's overview, I think, gives a pretty good idea of what it is that needs to go in the EPK and the fact that you really need to have an EPK, which some musicians just never even put together. So make sure you are taking that step to have just a good representation, a summary of who you are, what you're doing, and what makes you special. Don't forget to come say hi on social media, because why not? It's been amazing meeting you guys, getting your ideas, figuring out future videos based on things that you guys want to learn about. So if you haven't already, come say hi on Instagram, which is definitely the best place to get in touch with me. We release videos just like this once a week to help you with your music careers and getting you to the next level. We talk about everything from music marketing to copyright to trademarks and everything in between. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe and don't forget to turn on those bell notifications so you guys get reminded every time your new favorite redhead uploads a video. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Miss Krystle. Bye.